Hey everybody, it's February 4th, a Saturday. I don't quite have much to do, and surprisingly, there are actually no live games at the time of this recording for me to capture, so I just figured I would talk about this game that happened yesterday between Century Express and Alice. Century Express is representing the Congregation of the Classiest, and Alice is representing the Tomb Raiders, which has a much cooler name in my opinion. So we got our teams here, and yeah, it's the first game of the week for GSC, and we're in week 3. Um, I haven't seen the game, so I'm just gonna give a first time reaction and reserve any other thoughts for recaps as I'm doing week by week. If you want, you can always subscribe. Before we begin, I just want you guys to make sure to pay your taxes, because I don't want any complications. I don't want any SWAT team coming in on you as you're watching this. It's very important. I demand the utmost attention, and I demand that my viewers pay their taxes. Jokes aside, though, since tomorrow is my birthday, I figured I would host a tour on my Discord server. It's Cherry Bong's Keck Arena. It's the first link you usually find in the description of most of my videos, a link to my Discord. And there's still a bit of time left. If you guys want, you can sign up. And as you can see, it's a monotype tour. There isn't really all that much knowledge about monotype. The only thing I'm going to tell you guys is that Snorlax is banned, so you don't have to deal with that crap. But if you want to be a bunch of tryhards, you can all just spam electric teams and probably do just fine. I made a bunch of samples for you guys to, if you're feeling kind of lazy, but it should be fun. So, anyways, into our game. We got ourselves Century Express and Alice. What are their records now? Can't quite recall. I would say that Alice won a game and Century Express probably also did. Century Express won week 1 for sure. My memory is already really blurry, which is kind of disappointing. Alice faced Conflict once. Century Express faced Fear, but in week 1, who did? I think Century Express faced Watashi and Alice faced M-Dragon and Fear. Yeah. Anyways, let's see how this goes. They should both be 1-0. We got Jinx lead on Lax lead. Main thing about Jinx lead. Why is it so difficult to pause the turn? Main thing about Jinx lead is that it usually will dissuade any sleep talk lead Lax. There are lots of players that would use Sleep Talk lead Lax. Century Express and Hyoga, for instance, have, I believe, used Sleep Talk lead Lax without them being mono. It's not all too common because the rule of thumb would have it that you have an early setup with Lax so as to gain information. But it's not a bad lead per se. Now, many players have been doing a lot of different things with this interaction. The scary part, I guess, is that aside from the Lovely Kiss and the Thief, which I probably mentioned in my latest video, is the fact that Jinx can also run counter and Oko a Lax even if it clicks Earthquake. It would Oko, I'm pretty sure. Definitely Oko's if it takes a double edge. So, yeah. So goes for that Lovely Kiss and puts to sleep what we can only assume is a Sleep Talk. Zap. Century Express is going to double back, which is pretty insane if you think about it, because Alice could decide to stay in. It's not advisable, but, no, on second thought, it's totally fine. The Cloister gets parried, but it's only Body Slam Lax, so it's not too scary. Cloister's in. can toxic, and is pretty free to go for a spikes and then boom. Goes for surf. Yeah, makes sense. And especially if you then go to the golem. So what Century Express is going to do here is phase out the lax. The lax is at 76, but it's also poison. So if by any chance CE gets those spikes on some other mon, then this lax is not looking very healthy. It's actually going to be at around 50-ish% if it comes in on spikes. So from this range here, if you phase it out. But interesting double to make there. Scouts for the earthquake, and this is also plausible. I would say a bit scary considering you have T-bolt. Could be it could be kind of it could suck if you take a body slam and then get parried, but Alice is, resting because obviously it's a curse EQ, so they want to maintain this lax. That said, now the situation is that Century Express is rather safe. Safe to phase, that's for sure. So making some very, I would say, pretty clean doubles here so far. Goes to the lax. There were no spikes to spin away there. Oh, wait. No, it actually says that the spikes did disappear. Well, I didn't see it. Oh, wow. Commentator blunder here. Hang on a second. Do forgive me. Turn 1, we got Jinx. Lovely Kiss. And that's what I remember. Then turn 2. When the hell did they lay the spikes? I did not see that animation. I did not see the animation. There were no spikes. Whatever. All right. Sometimes it glitches and it doesn't show it. So that makes a lot more sense because Alice is not an idiot who would just click rapid spin on a Snorlax with no spikes there. This makes no sense why I couldn't see those. But whatever. So it glitched probably. And the lax stays in. So a bit of it was quite an intense trade to make, but considering the Cloyster is relatively healthy, there's a good chance it may lay the spikes again. And with Starmie so low, that can be kind of tricky. Basically, what that would mean is that it would have to sort of come in on a predicted turn for this Cloyster as it lays spikes. But the Century Express could also boom on it. If he does boom on her Starmie, then Jinx is pretty threatening, I would say. Not super uber threatening because but a lot of offense teams love to boom on Starmie because there are just so many pokes that just want it out of the way. So, I didn't have anything to say about the fact that there was a Screech Tar there, but if there's Screech, what is the phaser, if there is one? So we got double edge EQ. Does Century Express also have a curse user? No, going for 2 double edges there. Taking his chances because Body Slam is not nearly as powerful as double edge. So if this were +1 double edge, So taking some chances here because of this para. Oh, that's ugly. That lax is going to have a very hard time. Gengar, wow, surviving by the skin of its teeth. You can see in its grin there. A +1 EQ. You never, ever, ever see Gengar live +1 EQ. And it's a Thief Gar at that. My lord. So that was a absolute minimum roll. Thief, kind of preemptive. Booms on the tar. But at least that's making Zapdos's life a bit easier. Takes that out. This Lax is now kind of scary. Um, as Alice is attempting to paralyze the Zap. Gotta come in with the Cloy. And here you gotta watch out because Cloy could boom here. We'll never know what Sentry Express was clicking. And, ooh, okay. Ah, nice. Yep. Did someone enter my house? Eh, whatever. So, oh, my throat. Let's see. Go back just one turn. So, Sentry Express goes for a Toxic, which, okay, makes sense to me. Poison the Starmie. You weaken it, makes your life easier, makes Golem and Jinx's life easier. So, to me, it looks like Sentry Express brought a Fear team with Thief Gar, Jinx, Golem. Fear used this way back when, and it could also suggest that this Zapdos is Whirlwind. The only difference here is that the Snorlax is EQ. I don't know if I loved the whole let Lax get to low, but so far we haven't seen any Spiker from Alice's end. Now, in the meantime, so that makes it makes Cloyster's life easier, it makes Lax's life easier, it makes Golem's life easier, because the Golem doesn't have to be too preoccupied with spinning and can just focus on booming and phasing. So there's that. Poison on the Jinx or Starmie is nice. And Alice clearly wanted to catch Zapdos. And I don't suspect that the Starmie has another coverage move. Probably just Recover and either Psychic or Surf. Now, if it has Psychic, it could be one of those Earthworm-style teams with T-Wave Psychic, and we could likely be expecting a physical attacker in the back, something along the lines of Marowak, if it's the Earthworm-style team, because he likes to pair Starmie with Marowak on offense. The fifth Mon, I suppose, would be something like a Spiker. Otherwise, if it's Surf, it's a little trickier to tell because the team is very weak to Exeggutor because of the Screech Tar and not Pursuit Tar, and then the fact that this in general doesn't really beat Eggy. So actually, even if it were Psychic, it wouldn't. But goes for 2 T-Waves, then a spin. Kind of playing with fire a bit because now, eventually the Starmie will be forced out. Thing is, Sentry Express is also being super calculated and careful. Maybe he can't afford to do anything else. And so the name of the game is, I'm going to stay in. And I'm betting that you don't have Psychic, because if you do have Psychic, you 2-hit KO the Cloyster, and all of these moves that were clicked up until now from Alice were kind of for naught. But, so Sentry Express kind of is making a bet, because this Starmie is threatening to the whole team, especially with the Lax down. Very, very risky. So we see Surf, so the Starmie does not, in fact, have a way to 2-hit KO the Cloyster. So now this dies to Toxic, but in comes the Marowak. I'm so fucking smart. All right. And so Sentry Express switches out Cloyster. It's important to notice that if you click Rock Slide and with the Paralyzed Cloyster, you can hope to Paraflinch. The odds aren't super high, but they're significant. And off of a Thick Club, unboosted, it can do a lot of damage to that Cloyster. And the spikes are going to be very valuable. So I'm going to trade. Ooh, ooh, that sucks. Rock slide miss. So that's going to matter a lot. Oh my lord. Double rock slide miss. Come on, lol, says Alice. Yikes. That was ugly. Ugly. Yeah, these are free spikes. Dead Marowak there. So Alice can only use it as fodder unless she has a second spinner of sorts. And interesting to go back to Golem rather than just booming. But there you have it. We have a Vaporeon, so that looks like it was somewhat helpful because the Cloyster can definitely boom on that. Can serve as a deterrent. Now, Jinx Vaporeon is a very interesting matchup. Uh, Vaporeon is Sleep Talk Vaporeon is usually really. It looks as though it has an advantage. Psychic only doing 25%. But if it's the typical growth Rest Talk Vaporeon, it means it doesn't have all too many opportunities to attack when it's asleep. You don't want bad rolls can be very problematic. And there is always that Zapdos in the back just bugging Alice. So Jinx only needs to chip like twice. And there's the whole Spadef drop matter to keep in mind. There's the fact that Jinx could be sub. So it's a would-be check, but anything can go wrong, So here, for instance, I don't think Alice is going to attack. In fact, they click rest, or she clicks rest. The crit didn't end up mattering all too much. Cloyster comes in, but ooh, this could be scary. Okay, safe. Boom is free as long as it doesn't full para. Takes out the Vaporeon. And this looks like it's Century's Express game here. Century expresses that he wishes to win. See what I just did there? Marowak dies. Fucking dies. And okay. Yeah. Curse. Okay. Alice can still win. Alice can very, very much win with the lax there. Basically leaving that the Zapdos in the back as sleep fodder. So the Jinx cannot really stop this lax. And it looks like we'll never know if this is a phaser or not. I assume that the Zapdos is not a phaser. Yeah, comes in on this, hoping maybe to use rest, dies, or fucking dies, as I should say. Goes for a hidden power. Ooh, that was must be due to some sort of damage calculation there. Like the Golem, if you go for hidden power, you kill the Golem. But if you go for T-Bolt, maybe the turn after you don't kill it with hidden power ice. So, interesting. Otherwise, it wasn't. Yeah, we don't know, because I feel like Thunder was the move to click there, but yeah, to me it feels like Thunder was the move to click. Ooh, okay. Yeah, this is it has to win the speed tie. Lol lol, says Alice. Yeah, no, sometimes games go like this. You just lose to the worst kind of hacks. It was already Century Express was already doing very well. So interesting. Yeah, so we see the Thunder. Yeah, it was clearly it looked like it was one of those over predictions there. At the very least, Alice can hope to have the Snorlax chip itself through recoil, so kind of easing the situation just ever so slightly. Okay, but there is still a non-zero chance with how things are playing out. It's just that if the zap goes down, then Century Express just has to wait for the right turn to boom the golem. Alice has only one sleep turn on the back Snorlax burnt, so she really needs to break through this Snorlax because with the only one turn, it means Century Express can switch in Golem for free. So all Century Express has to do is basically outlast this Zapdos. It doesn't even have to win against it. He just has to not lose to it, and that's it. That's the win condition. And there is the crit, meaning it's game over here. Next turn, Century Express switches in and booms, and that's it. Reveal Custap Berry Snorlax or something. Yeah, no. Well, this, yeah, interesting. Now, I'm going to address the very good sportsmanship from both. Good sportsmanship. Can't see like that. How's about this? Just oof. Okay, let's try this out. Here we go. There we go. A little better. Like, Alice lost everything, so has, pretty much a right, in my opinion, to complain. Like, things went really sour in this game. So, to express your feelings and vent a bit, like, what do you want? Lost due to a crit on the very possible last turn. And Century Express saying, yeah, acknowledging that things could have gone a little bit differently. That's not to say that either of them played poorly or someone played better. I do think that it boiled down to the Starmie situation and the lax set. It turns out that this team did not hold up particularly well. But, yeah. In any case, if you guys did enjoy this magical event, then make sure to, do me a favor. Leave a like just to hack the algorithm so other people can get a chance to see this. You can subscribe, and because I will be uploading more of this if you're interested. So, take care of yourself, or else.